Hi, I'm Silvio and this is part 4 of my 2025 Christmas Village full tutorial series. A couple of days ago I realized that my first intention to wait some more weeks, let's say a month and a half, in order to build more things before starting to work on the railroad, it is too risky. This because whatever solution I will find, it will be impossible to 3D model and 3D print everything I will need to get the railroad at 30 inches from the ground, guys. 30 inches from the ground means minimum at this level here, guys, okay? Up over the roof of the buildings you have right there on the left side. 30 inches, guys. Even with 2 FDM printers, it will be an adventure. And right now, I still don't know how to do it. And it is a problem. I will spend most of the week in front of my computer trying to model something, trying to find a solution for getting the trucks up there. And no, not entire day, my spare time, okay, when I come back from work. Every night of the next week, of this week. And then I hope by the end of this part 4 to show you something, but I'm not certain. So I think I will start by adding the tracks, okay? Adding the tracks in the middle there, not on the styrofoam, because it will not be possible to fix them because they will be, I know, up in the air, but I will use some recycled carton box on top of the styrofoam, then place the track following the path I have designed some weeks ago in order to have something to attempt to elevate in a way or another. By the way, guys, my channel has been enlisted in the Hype here in Italy, but it is available everywhere. So if you want to give thumbs up to this video, please also try to find some times to click on the Hype. It will allow me to get some more views to my channel and to promote my channel even more, but you simply need to be registered on YouTube, and while you click on that thumb, please also click on that Hype. It will not cost you anything if you do it maximum 3 times in a week, maximum. But I will never ask you to spend money on my channel. This said, what you will also see, the remaining parts of the cobblestone curve that goes to the border of the layout there, certainly not here, this part here, or the part that goes from here towards the back, this part here, because I haven't 3D printed. It's modeled, sliced, yes, but not 3D printed. And then a new building for the left side, the third building for the left side. Here I still have all untouched, like you see right now. Maybe next week with part 5 I will start adding some more buildings here and also painting them. Big amount of work to do, but let me start having the trucks there, then let's see what will happen. Well guys, let's talk about the railroad, the 2025 railroad I wanted to add to my Christmas village. And forgive me for the background noise, but the two FDM 3D printers are still cooling down from 2 batches that I've just finished printing. You know how I want to make the railroad, because I have already told you, up 30 inches minimum up into the sky, but still connected to the ground. And the design this season I thought to be like this one. The green representing the base, the layout, the plywood, and the rest is are the tracks, all the tracks sections. Very difficult to achieve. In the past 3 parts I already started making here the main street here with 2 buildings, and here elevating from the ground at 27 centimeters the commercial / industrial section side. So you may understand how these not perfect ring here and those one may interfere with what I will having here and with what I already have here. So these tracks will be upon the buildings, especially the ones that I have here at 27 centimeters from the ground, from the others that are here. Obviously I cannot go like this, impossible. So the tracks will be flat, yes, but at a certain elevation. Okay guys, so I have tried to not waste too much layout with the track. So it will go, I think, this way like this, and the train will be getting some curves here, and the main front view will be each time the train goes on inside or through the curved sections of the tracks. And instead of having constant curves here, I also add a right-left curve here in order to make movement and get the viewer attracted to what it is there, because these will be back. These will be, if this is the middle, watchable, yes, from the front side, because it is at in plain middle here. 11.5, so 5 and something, so there is the middle here, okay, like that. So the ring here, the simulated ring, because it's not a perfect ring, will be, let's say it is a drop, okay? It remembers me a drop of water falling down in the nothing, falling down from a loose faucet, okay? And these water drop shaped ring, it is just with those 3 sections here, 3 curved sections from in front of the middle line, okay, of the layout. The rest is in the back. The tricky parts will be approaching the section here, at this level here, and trying to not make a mess, and obviously elevate this. It will be composed by 16 straight tracks G231 that are those one here, so 16 straight tracks of 23.1 centimeters long, and then 20 R1 52 to 11 curved tracks. Those are minimum tracks, 30 degrees tracks, curved, because the angle here is 30 degrees, and the total radius, so the inside of the ring from the middle is 36 centimeters. So from the center of the ring, if you complete the ring, you will have 36 centimeters of radius, okay? So this is 30 centimeters, 6 more centimeters, okay? And then to complete, and obviously those are codes for the Pico HO tracks, because I use Pico tracks for my Bachmann N30 modified train. And to complete the tracks, to join everything together, it was impossible to achieve with simple R1 curved section. So after these straight G231, I will add a flex curve, a flex tracks that I have already used in the past. It is a track that is flexible, but I will certainly need to cut it to adjust. In this part here, in this spot here where you see the red here, it means that it may be risky for the train to roll onto this section because of the curve that I've placed there, but I think it will get there. Obviously, I will not fix those tracks directly on the styrofoam because I needed to elevate them. So I will place them on some recycled carton box, then cut around, and then having it to simulate. I will cut the outside, not the inside, otherwise it is too flexible. I will cut like that, okay, I think, or like that. I will try to get this adjusted, and this will be the path I will have for the track if it works, okay. Well guys, it is time I start facing one of the most struggling problems I will have to face during this 2025 season. And as you can read right now, it will involve Christmas village trains and elevated rail tracks. I have mentioned a couple of times, I think maybe more, during the past 3 parts, that my intention is to elevate, yes, the tracks, but at an insane 8, almost 30 inches, okay. So right now I still don't know if I will be able to do it. So instead of realizing that in an advanced state of the season, maybe I need to start facing the problem now. Tracks and trains. Many of you use trains in your villages, in your Christmas villages. You may use battery powered trains, small trains, big trains, AC adapter powered trains. But the substance is always the same. So generally you use trains and in this way, and they have been developed to be used like that, putting the tracks as flat as possible on the most stable platform, on the most stable ground, on the most stable and large piece of styrofoam, or foam in this case. So this is not one of my villages, it's just one picture I found online. So you can see here the train going on a simple loop around a small Christmas village. Okay, classic here, but absolutely very, very, very fat there. Okay, here. Now you can have a variation. This one, I think it is maybe no, it is a C adapter. So it is a C adapter powered train, even this one. Another version of it with a Thomas Kincaid. Sorry for the bad quality of this picture. It is another version of a similar train. This is Bachmann ON30 train with locomotives, and it is from a Thomas Kincaid set. Same thing, and you have here on a different location position, always on flat tracks. If those ones were pre-made tracks on some of plastic ballast here, so they are elevated themselves from the styrofoam. In this case, the tracks are on the surface, on the plywood or on the foam, and then some extra ballast is put around the tracks there. Okay, is sparsed around the tracks, and it is visible, most visible here, where you have irregularity of the ballast around the track. Simple, not a circle, but a simple oval around another sample of a Christmas village. And the buildings seems in scale with the train. Okay, guys? Let's get to the difficult part. That start when and if you want to elevate the train, the tracks. Here you can see a sample of a train, AC adapter train on some tracks. You can see here on the top the tracks, and the tracks are on top of some very articulated trestles and support made out of wood. And you can see how articulated are these trestles. So, especially along a curve. So you need to involve yourself a little more to get this elevation. This is simply because this may be considered as a bridge, and during the first years of railroads, all was made with wood, bridges, trestles, etc. But for your Christmas villages, you can also adopt some different solution. Those are elevation you can find on the market. Those are styrofoam elevation that starts from just 1 or 2 millimeters above the ground and then goes up here like that, up until this level here, then some sort of bridge of suspended tracks, then once again in reverse mode getting down to the ground level here, then some complex tracks here. This is more a sample for some scale train modelers, okay? But you can implement even this in your trains and in your Christmas villages, sorry. And you can get a look here on how the elevations are not that tall. This because no matter if you are using DCC locomotive, so digital locomotive that can be controlled, managed by a controller that can always maintain the same speed no matter of the steepness of the rails, or standard analogic locomotives. The important thing is that those trains, your trains for your Christmas villages or for any scale model train, cannot go up than more 6%, and it is already too much, 6%. The range is between 2 and 4% of climbing up. If the rail become too steep, the train, no matter what, will not be able to get up there. And also you can have on the market other type of solutions, starting from ground, getting elevated, then going on top of a bridge and then going down. Those are plastic thresholds, pre-made plastic threshold, but once again the elevations are no more than, let's say, 3 inches, 4 inches, so 7 to 10 centimeters, no more. Okay. Standard elevation, I'm not talking about Alice elevation. It's not here the moment to talk about Alice elevation. Or on the market you can also have some standard elevations, plastic standard elevations, standard pillars that will elevate your tracks. Okay, this is not a steam train, this is more modern locomotive, a modern diesel locomotive, but the principle, the technique is always the same, having some tracks and getting elevated more and more with each pillar you add, and then obviously you need to go down once again. Okay, very quickly explained elevation of the tracks, standard elevation. During part 1 of my actual season, the 2025 season, you have seen a scene, sorry for the phrase, that is similar to this one. This is New York, if I remember correctly, during the first days of 900 centuries or late 800th century, with elevated tracks. You can see some carriages here, maybe some cars, so on the first cars, but mostly carriages here, and elevated tracks that were elevated from ground up to, let's say, first story, first floor, or between first and second floor of buildings that were commonly used at that time, commonly built, constructed at that time. And here you can see that this was already being made with metal pillars, no more wood, and those elevations are completely metal, exception for the horizontal parts that supports the rails here. So those horizontal parts you see, those horizontal support that were still made with wood, simply because wood will absorb vibration and forces better, avoiding noise, etc. And the rest is trucks that nowadays are still present in New York, Boston, I think, Chicago maybe, in the US. Mainly in the east coast of the US. And I've shown you this in real time. So elevations were made in plain middle of some streets with buildings from left, right, then elevated trucks with these H-shaped pillars here, or I-shaped, and I will explain to you right now. Just give me some seconds. This is a classic. This is not AI produced image. It is real photos from that period with carriages. You can see some cars in the back there. People from late 800 to first years of 900. And here, so the elevation is made with plane tracks. Useful, yes. Absolutely noisy, but at that time cities like New York or Chicago were absolutely noisy everywhere. And you can see how crowded were the streets. Okay, and this is always at the same height of first floors, first stories of the buildings, between first and second floors or levels of the buildings. So if let's say people were between, let's say 5 and 6 feet, okay, so 1, 6, 12, 18, you can imagine how tall they were, those elevation. And here you can see the coupling with bolts and nuts, here, etc. So metal elevated trucks. Another sample here where the elevation is absolutely very well described, and as you can imagine, this is from New York Train Museum and Brooklyn here. So this is an elevated section of railroads from Brooklyn in the same period of time, with a Y-shaped metal elevation here, getting to support the weight of horizontal supports, and on top of the horizontal supports some tracks. Okay guys, this was the elevation, and here another sample. Bad quality of the picture, but the same result, less crowded. So this one, it is not the locomotive, but I think the locomotive is not as you have seen here, guys, on the top here. This is not the same locomotive, because this one has 3 main wheels, then this one is a little shorter in length. This one just 2 main locomotive driving wheels, okay, but it is always a steam locomotive with 4 cars, 4 wagons, and this is larger. This is a two-way elevated train tracks railroad, and the pillars, the metallic pillars, this was essentially steel, okay, painted the steel as a nice section or H section, and a white top here I can imagine there, but they have also some strange design in plain middle, so it is not a plain pillar there, and I will explain this in some minutes. This is a more good picture. So this is different, always elevated, always the same period with carriages, horses, etc. And those dress were typically for that period of time. Here the pillars are different, are double Y on top and squared metals on the rest. So it's like having one beside the other two Y shaped top and then squared rest of the pillars, of the metallic pillars, with some base that was maybe stone, maybe not wood, certainly not metal, maybe concrete, okay, maybe concrete. They started using concrete for the bases even at that time. And this is a more recent, I think, from the cars between the 40s and the 50s of 20th centuries, so last centuries, and the cars, these are between 1940, 1950, or later 1950, no, 40 or 50. And you can see the concrete base here, because this was concrete, then inserted in the pillar, in the concrete base, a Y top shaped steel support here to support the weight here of the structure. And judging from this picture, those supports here seems to be or concrete or wood. Then on top of that was the tracks, two-way tracks, one from this side and one from the other side. Sorry, I should have done these to better let you see these. And this was the shape of the pillars, but as you can see, a car, maybe a truck, can go under it, and always at the same height. This is as it has always been, and it still does nowadays. Okay guys, so black and white pictures obviously for the time. This is a standard. How can I model standard supports, or you can find them on the market? Maybe for those ones you can find them on the market like that. Those ones more difficult to find on the market, so you needed to try to find a solution for them, and that solution is 3D modeling them and 3D printing them, or get them made custom by someone that is involved in doing that. Okay, let me switch to some modeling software. I will try to explain it, what are my difficulties right now, because I wanted to get not at this level here, but over the roof of the buildings. Mine are not this is one story, two, first floor, second, third, fourth, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, between 5 and 6 floor. But come on, getting from these to over the roof of the buildings with this system, can it be possible? Just remember that this involves forces, physics, law of physics. So the higher you go, the tallest those pillars are, the more tendency they have to bend, to crack, to go down, or to simply crush everything, because it is like that. Those needs to be as vertical as possible to absorb all the forces, and those insert you see in the middle are meant to subdivide the weight you have on top to the rest of the structure. And just have in mind to Raphael in Paris, how tall it is and how it is made with all those design. And Eiffel Tower is not plastic, is not wood, is pure metal, very tall tower, okay? And it was built in the same period, okay, even before this period here. And those lateral side, or those section here, are there to support the weight, not just vertically but even on the sides, etc. Stop, enough with physics, and let's get to the modeling part. So let me switch from Word here to Blender here. Blender is a 3D modeling software. It is a freeware, and I will use it for simplicity because of the fact that it has a very wide scene. But everything you will see here right now, I've modeled it using Rhino 3D, and I will come to that in some seconds. You may recognize the track here with the horizontal supports, and it is, I modeled this using as a sample one of my HO tracks that has even some hole in the middle to place a needle in there and to fix it on the ground. But horizontal supports and then the rails, okay? In my madness, I want to elevate this to over the roof of the buildings. In my case, certain buildings are not at ground floor, but are at a very high point, at an elevation of 27 centimeters from the ground. So total, in certain case, I needed to go up to at least 28 inches from the ground, at least 30 centimeters. 50 or 60 centimeters from the ground. Much impossible. Let me slide these to the left, and let me switch on the standard. Those one I modeled, those are in Rhino or Rhino 3D, keeping in mind those pillars here that were visible here, you can see similar. Here the base is concrete, and then I can imagine that those pillars are made in the same way, so straight. I don't have them on any other of these images, no, but those ones are the simplest one, so straight. And an I or H section. What I mean with that? I mean with that you can imagine that this can be considered as an H or an I if you rotate it like here, like that, a cap I, okay? And from the top you can't see anything because it is like that, a section, okay? But this is called a section, and let me explain how this can be achieved. And for simplicity, I've just modeled a squared base, concrete base, if you want. This was common to build buildings and railroads, elevated railroads, at the very beginning of the 1900th century, okay? Those are simple bolts in here. I can show you closer, but I modeled some bolts there to fix it everything together, but they are useless for our purpose. And these could simply be modeled, if you keep in mind, section or slice, like a pizza slice for example, and extrusion. I have explained to you what is an extrusion during my tutorial on styrofoam and the difference between expanded styrofoam and extruded styrofoam, okay? The extrusion is a technique, a method of producing metal, in this case steel, components for constructions. Here I have Rhino 3D rhinoceros with a top view, a front view, a right view, and a perspective. Let me switch to the top view. I will not explain how to use Rhino, but how simple it is to achieve that. Keep in mind what I've said. H section or I section. Okay? Let me go with these 3, 1, 2, then I go down a little like that, then I go 2, then I go 1, then I go 3. Okay, this is not an I or an H, but if I do some mirroring from this point to this point, I get an I section. It is not an H, but it is better like that. So I will join. Okay, I'm capturing the screen, so the function doesn't work. And here you can see that if I place my mouse here, join. So they have been joined together. Okay. Let me see. Okay, it has been joined. I take this as an I, okay, a capital I, like having caps on, and then just consider this a section. I will switch to this view here, and then I will say that to Rhino extrude it take this section and elevate it. Okay, look at what I got here in the perspective. Okay, the eye I had there, the eye I had there became a pillar with a nice section like that. Very easy to achieve. I used a different section, not exactly an H like this one, but to let you see how it is done, this one is more explicit. Then I simply go here where I add the eye here, okay, and if I want to place a base, I can do exactly the same. Let me go here. I will not use a squared base. I will exaggerate with the base. Like that. I will use the same. There are many techniques to get, many drawings technique to get where you want to get. This one is using simple lines and then mirroring the lines. Another one is to use a squared design and then. But I will use the same thing with the squared, but instead of extruding towards the top, I will extrude towards the bottom like that. Okay, concrete base, eye-shaped section, metal pillar there. I will not add the bolts there. Okay, so but this is how it is supposed to be simply modeled a pillar, guys. Very simply modeled. I can also render these very quickly. Okay, so you get everything like that. I am not getting the corners rounded, anything. This is a pure simple 101 modeling with just no adjustments at all. Okay, okay guys, so very simple to achieve these. So don't tell me that this modeling here is too complicated. Okay, let's go back to this model here, and I have also modeled, and I will not show you, don't be worried, the horizontal support and the rail supports. Okay, imagine that I will duplicate this one like this. Then I will put it on the ground like the previous one. This one too is at 0. So let me get these at the same height. Maybe it is at the same height. Let me elevate these a little on top of them like that. Okay, I will move these a little like that, a little more like that, and I will push this up to there. Very quickly done. I'm not aligning anything right now, but simply to let you see how this was built. Okay, how this was built during that period of time. And the supports there, I can duplicate object and then goes there straight. Okay, obviously those ones were more like this, one beside the other. Like this, and then you take the rails and you place them on top of the supports like that, and you have space, but because this one, it is supposed to be for two-way tracks. Okay, I can adjust these a little more to get it a little more inside. All these should be elevated a little more, like also this one a little more to get on top of this. Okay, but you have the general feeling on how this was built. Too much, like that. Okay, on how this was built, and a series of those all along the railroad. Okay, all along the railroad, like this, and they were made like this. Okay, okay, good. But if I wanted to go higher with this method, ooh la la, and this is a steel, guys, very heavy. Those designs here were not ideal for elevating too much from the ground level. Getting higher, getting them taller than what they are supposed to be, you risk they will start bending everywhere because they will not support the weight anymore. Okay, this has been the problem. So can I get this design here to 30 inches? I don't think so, simply because physically you can't, and my railroad will not be. If I elevate these with, I can model this in different pieces to get them together and getting up to where I want. Will it be stable? I doubt of that, simply because of the base. Could I get a larger base? Yes, but ugly to see and not compatible with what you have in real life. Okay, guys, and gluing together those pieces will be hell if I consider doing this. Those ones were assembled together with bolts and nuts in the first years, then soldered after then. But I cannot model tiny bolts and tiny nuts to join them together, and getting horizontality with this would be hell. So I went back to modeling, and tried, can I get something like that? That it is more suitable for getting taller structures, those ones Y-shaped with some supports inside. Yes, yes. With the same technique you have seen me working on here, you can achieve I named them a double T, those ones, okay, this one, and if I rotate it a little to go to 180 degrees like that, and then you can see how, and they are always at the same height because they are meant to support the same height structures. They look more stable, okay? Obviously they weren't made these in just one piece, they were assembled, and I try to use those inclined sections here to get it more stable with a larger base, a larger, let's call them concrete bases, with some way of getting the tracks not going over the edge, in this case bumping into this, okay, and having double support with some arcs. This is nothing more than modernizations of arcs used in architecture from the Roman Empire age or Greek era to nowadays. Arcs supports better forces than straight angles like that. So always straight, but with the addition of some arcs to support the weight, okay? Better to get these 3D printed also, yes, because I will not need to assemble anything. The problem is that the top part here will go up to 30 inches. How can I have these lower section here up to 30 inches? Multiple parts. Yes. But how can I assemble these? Very, very, very difficult to achieve. But those ones are more in those cases here, different case, more like this one, arched, Y-shaped, etc. Not like those one exactly, but my way of modeling them like that, using Rhino, okay, this can be achieved. Another, so right now I haven't solved anything. Right now I know that I can model and produce supports for standard elevated tracks, no more than 3, 4, 5 inches, then no more. I can elongate these about 2 or 3 inches, then the structure will lose completely its stability and this aspect will be ugly. Okay, very ugly, not doable. The base will be too under designed to support that weight. Impossible to stabilize that with this shape here. Okay, so after doing that, I realized that standard way of modeling, of thinking railroads, elevated railroads, will not fit my idea of elevating those tracks to 30 inches, and in a very easy way. Let me explain. I cannot 3D print 30 inches of these in a single print section. I needed to assemble each pieces, even if I 3D print the top part and then the pillar here, I cannot 3D print the 30 inches of pillar in just one, because standard printers are 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. The printing bed. Is the surface you need to print on, and the 20 centimeters is 3, 7, 14, 3, 6, 9 inches, around 9 inches, okay? Yes, around 9 inches, but from 9 to 30 inches, you can understand the difference. From 20 centimeters to 60 centimeters is 3 times, okay? 3 times. So I will need to assemble those, getting exactly the same alignment for each pieces. Sorry for that awful noise. Very difficult to achieve. So I was really struggling during all the week. Then observing the standard shapes, because this is not a standard shape and the section here is not supporting the weight in the same way. This is larger than this part here, so it needs more supports on the center, less support, so more weight on the center, that this is larger than this part here. And I was thinking, let's extrusion and then the curve, let's move them aside for now. Let me do this, okay? I simply designed a line in between those pieces, and elementary geometry, so lines, square, rectangles, etc. You learn this in elementary school, in middle school, nothing difficult, okay? I'm not talking about algorithms, anything like that. And this, obviously, a square can be extruded like this and get not a realistic aspect there, but it is a simple rectangular pillar. More easy to assemble one piece on top of the other, but they still need to be glued together with resin or super glue or whatever you want, because placing them one on top of the other, it will be ugly even to see. What has always been the perfect geometry since ancient times? The circle, the sphere. Obviously I cannot use a sphere, but if I go with a circle and get the circle extruded, and then move these aside, you can see that point of view speaking, a cylinder, that's because it has been made from the perfect geometry shape, a circle is more appealing to the view. Okay guys? Okay, you can now start understanding where I went or where I will try to go. Can those pillars rounded be assembled one on top of the other? Yes. With glue, yes. With other system right now, no. And then obviously you can also add difference. Okay. Can move the extrusion a little towards the inside there. Okay. And then when rendered and shaped, you can add different style or different good looking addition to the column. Okay, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Let's forget this. Let's focus on this column. If I can find a way to get those cylindrical pillars more attractive, yes, but it is simply a way of adding here and there some other components, but also modular, that they don't need glue to get them connected together. And then plimp, I remembered what I did last season with my long bridge, that uses some open lock clips. I didn't invented the OpenLock system, but it is among the 3D printers community since long time, and it is intended to be used with large pieces, not figurines, to connect pieces together. Let me go to the round design. This is, and maybe you are hearing on the background the sound of the 3D printers. All my two FDM 3D printers are now printing those pillars. I am mass producing them, okay? A base that is a larger cylinder, some additional cylinders there, some more outgoing cylinders, 4 smaller cylinders here on the four sides, to get these more towards late 20th century, yes, but it is the only suitable way of doing that. Getting an advancement to the standard tracks, to the standard elevation, using a modular way of doing it. You have from the top, from the bottom, some holes there. And this clip I haven't modeled it, and this is an OpenLock clip. It is meant to join two pieces together. I simply took from the OpenLock system the male here and the female that is inserted inside here, inside the column, inside the pillar, and let me go like there, so you may understand better what I am meaning. Okay, I haven't modeled myself the male and the female. I simply took them, Google, you simply need to Google for OpenLock clips system or OpenLock system, and you will find freely to download this system. Okay, do you want to see it? Maybe let's pause this for a moment. So let me go for a moment with Google here. Let me go on Thingiverse, that is a site for freewares models already done, and let me search for OpenLock tessellation. Okay, maybe this one is better. Okay, it has been invented from printable scenery, but okay, you get all kind of female, okay, and this is the clip. Okay, this is the clip. So in this OpenLock system there are 262 files. It means that you can get together 261 pieces together, different pieces, because the 262nd, sorry, is the clip. And I don't know if you can see it. This is open lock clip, that it is this clip here. The rest you are seeing here are all the female blocks you can add to your design. So I simply took the simplest one, that is this one, or you can go with the N type, or you can go with the A type. Okay, so the simplest way, it is, those are walls that can be connected together with the clips and so on. The simple one is, I don't know if they stated that here, but many simple, they couldn't face it with many ones. No, but believe me that the simple one is the squared one, the rectangular one, that is this piece here. Maybe I can go, okay, like that. So the simplest one is BA here, or IA here, or nothing else. The others are larger parts of it. So this one means you have to use 3 clips for each side. This one use 1 clip, 2 clips. This one use 4 clips. This one use 3 clips, etc. This one use 1 clip for each one in the curve. This one is a curve with 1 simple clip. And those ones, the BA, and the IA, you can see here, are the simple one, the ones that use less space. If you wanted to integrate them into your design, you simply need to integrate this with this clip here. IA, let me see, IA wall, maybe it is this one, BA, it is better. So you can see that those are supports, but the BA is what you want to add. So it is simple to get to your model design, and go ahead. Okay, thank you. Download BA, yes, and then here you have, you simply need to rotate this, like this, and then like this, and then move it a little towards here, the center, but let's do this like that. Okay, then you simply need to do this to integrate it. You Ctrl+C that, and then you remove polygon primitives, box, and let me go like that. Let me go like that. I will take this, I will boolean and the difference with this, okay, and then you have the cylinder. With the clips. Just remember that this piece one, no, I cannot show you like that. This one, 2, 3, and 4, you need to remove them from the model. But it is what I have used. Now I went very quickly, I didn't use the same dimension, etc. This one is the cobblestones, but you get the same result, okay? You get the clips together. This one is, I've used the B, I used the BA, but that uses the double, okay? But you can see that in the middle, where is Rhino, there, you simply get the middle and then the rest will be going away from this. So 1, 2, and the middle is this one is the middle. The same thing you have here in the middle, it is removed and you have the rest of the clip. It has been done this way. I made this 2 days ago I think, but now you can go with half the clip like that, okay, that will go inside. Then you take another of those ones and you go on top of it like that, okay, not precisely because you get the insertion. So you insert, obviously you need 2 of them, but you have understood it like that, okay, more or less, and then you go and insert it and you clip it. Let's remove this. You go and clip it on top of it like that, okay. And I've modeled this simulating some bolts connecting the pieces together as they used to be, and a cylinder is the most stable shape you can have, okay, simply because the height and the perimeter are connected, okay, they are similar. So a round pillar is more stable, and you can see here that those pillars are larger than the ones used originally and standard pillars, but having to go up to 30 inches, it is the only way to do it. Believe me. And other than having the railroad suspended through some wires connected to the ceiling of the room, etc. No, these is the only solution, and I still don't know if it will work. I need to test this. Okay, I could have used simply a cylinder, but it was very attractive. This one will be more attractive. I haven't modeled anything than this one. Okay, and then a straight track, a straight support for the track. And I already imagine this to be a double-sided track support. Okay, that needs to be plain. I wanted to simulate those pillars here to remember the origin of the way of having it, then some adding, but it is the same with some clip insertion, female clip insertion from each side, 2 from this side and 2 from this side, and 2 clip insertion, female clip insertion for the sides to connect the support for the tracks. Obviously you need to use them like that. You need to rotate this. You need to rotate this a little more. So this is the top, this is the bottom. You go there and you go 90 degrees. Then you turn this like that at 90 degrees, even this one. Then you will align those ones with the other, and you see that I can go now. I can go like that and like that, having the clips to support everything, etc. Yes, but no, because I lack support on the parts between the 2 pillars. So last thing I modeled during the 3 days is the pillar to track connector that you have here. So on top of the last piece of pillars, of the last module of the pillar, you will add this piece here, on top of each pillar, and the principle is the same. A portion of the pillar with the 2 clips, bottom and top, then an L-shaped support that is with the clips, even this one, just for 3D printing purpose. I added those supports directly on the piece, because those parts here are printable with no supports at all. It is a supportless printable system. This one is there, so I need to get those one a little further. Then I need to duplicate this one to rotate it the other side. and to position it on top of the pillar like that, like that, like that, like that. Okay, without the clips it will be impossible, but then I simply need to move them apart a little like that to be joined together, and then they are not at the same height. Yes, let's get down up a little more. So they aren't perfectly aligned, but if I made calculation exactly, and I hope so, the straight part of the track should go exactly in the middle, and you can clip the pillars to everything. So you can even move one pillar there, and then one pillar there, okay, connected like that, okay, and so on. Okay, so it gives stability to the system, and it is clippable everything, and from the distance at that dimensions it will be not noticeable that it is too modern. But to get the structure some stability, it was the same thing. Those are simply designs I added there to get it more attractive. But this will be the only achievable. I still need to model everything else, the curved section, the curved supports, etc. But the pillars are the main structure, the focus point of this system, and I hope they will be suited for this. On top of here I can add some other things, some caps, I don't know right now. So at least each pillar is 3 inches tall, and you may understand that this system, the clip system, is not suited for such designs, too small designs. Okay, too small designs. Could I model those pillars a little with a smaller diameter? Yes, but the clip will not have the same physical strength to support the junction between them. And it is not that you cannot remove anymore the clips, you can remove the clips, but to 3D print this and conserving the same mechanical strength of the clips, you need to print them at this dimension here. Okay guys, so I hope by the end of this part 4 to show you some of the results. I don't think I have enough. I will have enough pillar models to get to the 8 I want, but whatever will be produced I will show you. Take in mind that at maximum speed possible to avoid misprinting from the 3D printer, 1 pillar, 2 supports, and the rail supports take 6 hours to be 3D printed to get a decent result. Okay, 6 hours for 1 2, 3 and 4 elements on a single bed. Okay, so a lot of time. Let's get with something else. Some minutes ago you have seen on the 3D modeling software what I have in mind. And the first batch that came out from the 3D printer is this one. This is the first section of the cylinder, of the round pillar, total 8 of 7.5 centimeters, so 3 inches. Okay, and it has been printed this way, okay, on the bed, this way, with also the track there, the first section of the track. And this combo here took 6 hours and some minutes, okay? So imagine how long it will take to 3D print all the pillars I will need. And obviously, once I finish this presentation, I will print some open lock clips because I will need them. So those supports there will go here on the tracks like that. They can go right like that, and this length here, the inside length, it is exactly the length of the track, so the width of the track, okay? And those supports can go one in front of the other like that, or like this, and getting these supported, and those supports will go on top of the last pillar section like that, and the last pillar section will get, and you can see that just one pillar is not enough, you need the 2, so very long time, very long hours of 3D printing. In the next days it will go on for I think 3 weeks minimum, okay? Minimum 3 weeks, 6, 12, so 4 sections of this, 4, 7, so one day, one complete day to get just one tall enough column to get the support, then everything else. Then I still have to model, to 3D model the curved section, the 30 degrees that will accommodate those ones, because the tracks there goes like this or like this. They can go in the middle if it is one track railroad, or it can go like this and have 2 tracks, okay, with the supports getting outside, so the train can roll without a problem on the tracks there if I use double tracks, one track. I'm hoping to use just one of those to support the tracks, the straight tracks here, the 1, 2 and the other tracks, when I reach this very narrow section here. Okay, the rest, it is a work in progress, guys. I am freaking out, I am trembling, because I don't know if I will get it. It is the most strange railroad I never made. And also I will need to find some space for some buildings and the station at some point, and then adding a way to access the railroad at a certain point. I'm not there. I'm not there. And you can understand that now I'm really behind schedule. See you on the layout.
Night shift cutie at the truck stop knows my name. Threw the candle in the midnight oil and lit up the honky-tonk highway. I see the sun come up, cause I ain't in the bed. Gonna have my name cut into a stone when I lay my head. No rest for the wicked, at least for a few hundred miles. I'm running wild, ride the lightning, run on empty in the ring of fire. Rolling like the Mississippi, oh mama tried. But I got bad down to my bones, don't know where I'm gonna go, oh sweet child. I'm running wild, I'm running wild. Always been a runner, never been one for settling down. Spent my life in the backwoods looking for ways out of a one-horse town. I found a six-string ticket and jumped that westbound train. I only slowed down long enough to stand up on that stage. Cloud nine is a cloud of dust for the next 1,000 miles. I'm running wild, ride the lightning, run on empty in the ring of fire. Rolling like the Mississippi, oh mama tried. But I got bad down to my bones, don't know where I'm gonna go, oh sweet child. I'm running wild, yeah. on, living like I'm dying slow. Headlights in the fast lane is my home away from home. If there's light after this tunnel, I'm gonna be the first to know. No slowing down, no looking back, no staying for a while. I'm pedal down and right on track. I'm ready for this ride. I'm running wild. Ride the lightning, run on empty, the ring of fire. Rolling like the Mississippi, your mama tried. And I got that down to my bones. Don't know where I'm gonna go, sweet child. I'm running wild. I'm running wild. Yeah, I'm running wild. Oh, I'm running wild. I'm running wild.
Final recap of part 4 of the 2025 season, and I am starting from the water drop shaped ring there that is on the right side, and that continues like that towards here, the left side, the industrial side. And here I will have the biggest problems to elevate the railroad, guys, because look from here where the tracks goes like that, no problem there. I think that I will have the space, but here they will be on top of everything, on top of the buildings there. So here it will be the big problem, especially because I will need to elevate this section here with some pillars that are different height, because they will be standing on top of this part here, this section here, where I will have other buildings. So it will be a little complicated there, but I'm not there. But with this temporary placement of the tracks, I can take more seriously the question of elevating the tracks. The rest of the design went well, guys, because I designed it some weeks ago, as I said, and it will go there. And this way of having the tracks there don't take too much space here. I will still have plenty of space here in the middle to add whatever I want or whatever I can, keeping in mind that I will have other buildings there. And by the way, the curve here, the cobblestone main street here, going towards the left, going towards the end of the layout, is finished. I still need to 3D print the part that goes there. Okay, and then on top of here, buildings, and on the outside, buildings. The difficulty will be getting one beside the other, the buildings all along the curve there. But I will try to find a solution. I've already started joining together different parts here. Not here I have 3 parts, here I have 2 parts, but here I started using the resin. It will not be visible once painted because already with the primer the different colors will disappear as always. Let me place the buildings where they need to be. One here and one there. And even here, elevating this will be an interesting task. Those are the clips, guys, the OpenLOP clips. I printed some of them, and you can see that I managed right now to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of the modular pillar there, and I'm not even at half 8 of the buildings, so I needed to go over this building, but maybe over that building, the new building, but maybe even over, because the building that will be there in the corner will be so much taller. And maybe I will try to show you. You have seen during the previous minutes, the previous footage, how I joined this. Let me place the camera a little more stable there, because I will need to use both my hands. Okay, so I will remove one of those, and it's simple, a question of pulling it out like that. I will remove 2 of them like that. Okay, and now I have 2 and 2. Let me add another support. Here I will get another support there. I will place the clips on the bottom there like that. No, they were already there, so I simply need to connect this there, clip, and then I will try to support one of the track. Okay, let me add also a couple of clips there like that, and I will clip this there. And then I have some more clips. I will do the same thing here, one here and one there. And instead of getting on the same level, I will go a little further like that. Okay, now waiting for me in front of the new building, that it is this one. Okay, you have Miss Genevieve waiting there in front of the tailor shop, because inside I added a scene of a tailor shop, of a Victorian tailor shop. Then on the first floor inside you have a ball classroom filled with people dancing. Nothing on the second floor because I had curtains. And then on the third floor a bathroom. If you are wondering how I managed to do those scenes, I simply print with my inkjet printer on some very high quality paper and very thick paper a scene generated by some AI. So I have a subscriber to an AI that generate images from a prompt, and I simply specify photorealistic Victorian tailor shop front view inside and wide screen, and then I wait for the generation of what he can do. Not always the first choice is the one that I will adopt. Everything is the same then there, and also the bathroom. Then I apply directly on the building using some double-sided tape, or applying first the printed scene on some styrofoam, then double-sided tape inside the building like that. Maybe I can show you from this one what it meant. It is like that. Inside I have those scenes, okay, placed there, and also from the side they go from the side. They are simply 3D not 3D printed on some high quality paper, okay. And also the bathroom there from a closer look, okay. And the fourth building is precisely glued to the third one there. No, it is perfectly aligned with the third one like that. And then the outside wall mounted lantern, it is there, different from this one, but always the same technique to add the lantern to the building. Those ones are a little less elevated than this one, but they are different. And if you want to know which one I used always N-scale street lamps, wall-mounted street lamps. Those one are from Eve model there, and the pack contains 4 of them, and they already have a long couple of wires. They simply got the wire wrong because they used the black as positive, where generally the black is used for a negative, but it is just a matter of inverting the wires. Only a little problem. And those ones are better, I think, than the one, because you don't have to cut anything. You simply need to use them and to connect it to the wires to the power source, okay. And what else, guys? 5 package, a little pricey because they are almost 1.8 euros, so 1.8 USD each one, but they are well suited for the purpose. Maybe I can find a cheaper dealer on internet, a cheaper vendor, a cheaper seller, and they are from a well-known brand that those props and street lamps and lamps for train scale modelers, and this one is an scale. It is not suited for general purpose, but for the buildings, yes, the Lemax building. And those two lanterns, or those two version of N-scale props, are the only one usable with Lemax buildings. The rest, it isn't at the correct scale, guys. And what else, guys? Here nothing color used, some dark blue, so navy blue mixed with some light blue and some iridescent silver for the shop, because I wanted this to be metallic, as this one is the green one. Different shade of blue, but similar. Then two shades of red for the bricks in the front, that is dark red, and then some terracotta. From the side I even added some gray, and then for the pipes some oily steel, and then some chrome, as the other pipes I've already modeled and printed, and like those ones, the same shades of colors. The roof, it is always the same with the chimney, etc., like that. For the main wall I went with some dirty white. I added just a little drop of gray into my titanium white acrylic color to have a less clean, a less perfect white, and so it is like that I went like that. It is not perfectly white, it is some shades of gray. It has some shades of gray and nothing else. Yes, gray, pure gray for the windows frame, and pure transparent plastic PVC for the simulated glass of the windows. And the most difficult part was painting it correctly. And I haven't shown you the technique for the lantern, but it is always the same. You have already see for building number 3. By the way, building 17, building 15, building number 5, if I remember correctly. And Mr. Genevieve is there. From next building on, I will start to get down, and the next building will be a corner building, a strange corner building. And what else, guys? Nothing else, I think. I went through everything here, explain this, and okay. Don't be scared, guys, by these way of elevating the tracks. That's all, guys, I think. Yes, see you for the outro.
Calmez-vous, calmez-vous. Une erreur, un oubli de temps en temps peuvent se produire, voyons. Il ne faut pas s'énerver de cette façon-là. Ouh là là, she's mad at me, she's furious. And she will be for the next 10 to 20 days, I think. Oui, bien sûr. All because I forgot to add to the layout this straight track with the connectors to the power line, to the AC adapter. Ooh. Oh, doucement. She's giving me such names, I will not repeat them. And now, guys, there will be time and time and time to disassemble many times that railroad. So she is not there
to insult me. And the rest, guys, you know where that railroad will be, those tracks will be. I will not repeat once again myself. And the left side of the cobblestone street is finished. I will hope to add some more sections going toward the tracks, the black tracks there. Not too much, otherwise I will not have space. I will try to maintain them a little away from the tracks. And then you have seen the fourth building, and this time 4 is the same everywhere. The tailor shop. I haven't shown you anything concerning the assembling or the painting or adding the wall-mounted external street lamp, because you have already seen that technique, those technique during part 3. And what else, guys? Oui, bien sûr, pardonnez-moi, the pillars, the round pillars that will add me, hopefully, to elevate the tracks to that 8 are now being 3D printed massively. But guys, I still don't know if they will work in reality. They seem so stable, okay? Considering that maybe 4 pillars for each section will be suited, but I don't think 2 will be enough if I connect tracks between tracks, okay? Then 3D modeling, etc. Maybe it is not too much to show you during this part 4, but believe me, the more time I spent in front of my computer, of my PC, modeling, 3D modeling something, the less time I will have to add buildings and other things to my Christmas village. And you have just seen 2 examples, and then the final decision to go with these pillars there. But there were 9 more that you haven't seen. I made 12 attempts. Yes, this is the 12th attempt before getting the final decision to go with this. I tried the triangular pillars, I tried the strange formed pillars, I even tried to add the open lock clips, into the standard columns. A failure because the design isn't suited for this purpose. But this open lock system, guys, please consider it as a must if you want to connect the big section, big parts, one to the other, avoiding tons and tons of glue or other things to connect. And it will also prevent you to damage permanently the pieces, because each piece you join with open clips is usable many times, and the open clips too are usable many times. Sometimes they are more difficult to extract, sometimes less difficult, but once you hear the click with the clip, it is good to go. And now maybe you are hearing in the background 2 FDM printers that will work 24 hours a day non-stop to produce those pillars and everything else. I will need to spend some more hours in front of my PC modeling the curve, the sections, but not that much. Now that I have that I have in mind the design, it will go. Maybe too advanced for Victorian era. Maybe yes, you are right, because during Victorian years you couldn't find cylindric pillars, round pillars, but with the addition of those pipes, maybe it could figure as a pillar from that period. Hey, come on, maybe this village is a Victorian village. freezed into the future. Maybe, I don't know. Oui, d'accord. She's telling me I'm too long. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and give big thumbs up. And also don't forget the hype, as I already asked you, if you have a YouTube account. Not a channel, obviously. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing my absolutely awful English. And as she is crying behind me, see you for part 5, but only if you really wish. Bye. Au revoir.